Okay, welcome. I hope the audio will capture this time. Yes. So, welcome everyone to Pixel Art Workshop. I hope you are excited because I am. So, by the end of the workshop, hopefully, what you guys will do is you will upload whatever you do today to Discord or Telegram. Then later tonight, I'll just compile it all into one frame so we can all kind of see what we did today. Yeah. So if you're here to learn about a specific type of art style, I'm sorry, I can't teach you that. I'm not that good. I can probably refer you to someone who has a similar art style to what you're looking for. Yeah. But if you're here to be like a good artist in 2 hours, I cannot do that for you. I can't even do that for myself. So let's just enjoy the process. Yeah. So first off, let's talk a little bit more about pixel art in general. What's so different about pixel art compared to your regular 2D art? Anybody wants to give an answer, or are we doing lecture style today? Don't be shy. Let's warm up. Warm up. Oh, you guys need me to put you into pairs. The good old pair style. Okay, come. 3, 2, 2, 2. That way the 4 of you can just do together. The 3 of you at the back over there. And the 2 of you can sit closer. The 3 of you, 2 of you. And then you can shift, scoot over and become 4. Yes. Okay, come. Let's discuss. What are some of the major differences between your regular pixel art and your normal, media 2D vector art? Come. This so long. Shit. I have no references somewhere. Okay. Okay. Wait, come. Let's come back. Okay. Anyone wants to share? Or I'll just start pointing random people. What's so different with pixel art and your regular digital art? Don't be shy. Sorry? Pixel aliasing? Okay, interesting. What does that mean? Mm. Mm-hmm. No such thing as a gradient. Like a smooth gradient, basically. Okay. Yeah, so pixel art doesn't have smooth gradient. Technically, true, I guess, but if you scale up the resolution high enough, you can make it happen. You can make it happen. Anything else? Anything else? Yes. Okay, since everyone's too shy, I'll just share what I think is different. So first of all, the main difference that I find pixel art to be, what the main difference I think is between pixel art and your normal digital art. First of all, is the size of what you're going to draw. In pixel art, it's not conventional to be drawing very large images. Usually, you wouldn't even go past triple digits in terms of pixel sizes. The most you would go usually is not more than 1,000, not more than 128 pixels. Because anything more than that is way too similar to digital art and it kind of loses the charm. Not to say it's impossible, we do have a lot of people who draw environment pixel art, but if you look at it closely, it's actually just all small 32 by 32 blocks of little things that they use to populate the environment. So again, it's just a big picture filled with small things. So that's usually what environment pixel artists do. They also use a lot less color. So similar to what Rehan shared just now, he said that pixel art doesn't have a smooth line gradient compared to your digital art, which is kind of true, but that's only because our canvas size is so small, you usually don't have enough pixels to facilitate that level of smoothness, right? So you have to be very picky with your colors. So this is something that I did a long time ago. I don't remember when I did this. But this was me experimenting with lighting. So I just kind of took a picture of, I basically found a picture of Kirby. And then I just tried to shade Kirby with some super bright spotlight. Yeah. So I tried making a Kirby from scratch using whatever knowledge I had back then. And this is kind of what I came up with. So I started with just one color and two colors to give it a bit of depth. And then I started next with this part, the outline. And I thought it looked okay. I thought it was okay. So I used about 5 colors here. And you can really tell the gradient's not as smooth as most like digital art will be. Because you really just don't have that many pixels to play with. So this is a 32 by 32 ball, by the way, 32 by 32 pixel. Yeah, we can confirm that here. Okay, never mind. Let me just increase the canvas size then. Why is the canvas pink? You know what? Never mind. Anyway, just take me for my word. This is a 32 by 32 sphere. Yeah. Yeah, so in pixel art, there are many ways you can try to. Basically, pixel artists have to be smart in the way they try to portray colors, first of all, and they have to be very smart in the way they portray shadows and depth. Because one of the main reasons we can perceive depth in normal digital art is shading. So you can see from the top two balls, the one on the left and the one on the right, you can tell roughly what perspective I'm looking the ball at just because I gave it some shading. And that's only using 2 colors. So that's usually one of your main priorities as a pixel artist is how do you choose 2 colors effectively such that you can give this object, this 2D object, a perspective view, some sort of depth for people to look at. So that's one of the difficulties of pixel art is choosing first your canvas size and then secondly is the right colors that contrast well enough for you to give a good enough shading. Yeah. Anyway, I tried experimenting a bit more with all of this and what I got was the one at the bottom right, that sphere at the bottom right. So I decided to remove the black outline because I didn't really want the toon style. I tried to make it as realistic as possible. And I don't know if it looks good to you guys. I think it's okay. I think it's fine. Yeah. But There's some things we can try later, but this is roughly the process for making simple objects in pixel art. Yeah. So, secondly, I wanted to talk more about pixel sizes, your canvas sizes. So usually I just kind of interchangeably call it the resolution of your image because computer science, but roughly you can tell in 32 pixels you can roughly get that level of detail. As you can see, I can barely do anything with the eyes. If I did anything more, I feel like it would be a bit weird, but it's not impossible. So down here below, let me scroll down. Here, I tried playing with the eyes, the expression a little bit. So this was me using the smallest version of, not me, but it's the smallest version of the character that I made. And I tried to give it as much expression as I could. So this was just me changing the eyes, not anything else, just the eyes. So you can do a lot with just the eyes being like roughly a total of like 30 pixels, 20 pixels. It's not impossible. But what you would usually find is that it would either look out of proportion, look weird, or it just doesn't look good enough to be like proud of it. So a lot of pixel art will be trial and error. That is something we will be trying a lot later. It will be a lot of iterations of going through. We'll be going through a lot of iterations to improve it such that it looks nice to you. So yeah, so just something to take note of. Personally, if you are planning to make pixel art for games, it really depends on what kind of game you want to make. But the most important basic for game is usually deciding the smallest size of your tile. So if we take a look at this, I hope you can see this image. Anyone know what this game is? Or where this reference comes from, at least? Anyone know? Too old? Am I the wrong generation? Is this the age gap hitting me? I was teaching Studio 2 days ago and someone asked me what is that Skype logo on my laptop, and I've never felt older. Anyone here don't know what Skype is? Okay, very good. Thank you. I am not crazy. Yes. Okay, who knows this game? Really, it's not that hard. Give me a guess. It's from the Game Boy. Who has never touched the Game Boy? Oh no. Cooked. You guys are cooked. Okay. Sorry? Sorry? No. But close enough. Okay, so this is from Pokemon from Game Boy. This is a Pokemon Game Boy scene. Yeah. So something interesting about how pixel art evolved is if you look at your really old systems, your Game Boy was yay big. Okay, I'm using my hands. It's yay big. So your screen in total was actually width was 160 pixels. Your height was 144 pixels. So if you imagine having an 8x8 tile in that tiny screen, right? Let me just do some math. 160 divided by 8 is 20. Okay, 20 and 18, I think. Yeah. So essentially, when you made a Game Boy game as an artist, your whole screen you had 20 by 18 pixels to work with, which is not a lot. Not pixels, you have 20 by 18 tiles to work with. So when I say tiles, those are the things that usually is a unit of measurement that is useful for the player to take note. So one tile, in this case, would be something like not here, like this. Yeah. So this is a 16 by 16. 16 by 16. Yeah. This is a 16 by 16 tile, or rather a table I tried drawing 16 by 16, but it's not really a table. But if we analyze the Pokemon sort of reference here, you can see that they only use 4 colors essentially. For each object, there's only 4 colors because back then you only had 8 bits, right? 8 bit. 2 bits per color. It's really not that much. Yeah. So what Pokemon did was they had their smallest tile size they decided was 8 by 8, so it was roughly, my god, wow, my god, yay big, wow, yay big. This was roughly one tile size in, oh my god, in Pokemon. So imagine working with this, and then now back then it was 160 by 144, so it was still somewhat manageable. In terms of proportion, it was still okay. But nowadays your computers are like 190, 1920 by 180, something like that, like 1960 resolution. Look at that. I don't even know where the pixel went. Yeah, hell, tell me where the hell my tile is. I don't know. Yes. So if you want to make pixel games, you have to get the smallest. First, usually you decide what is the smallest tile that you need in your game. So imagine this is your screen, your 1920 by 1080 for your usual computer monitor. Your 8 by 8 tiles don't cut it anymore, for your eyes at least, because you're not going to be that close to the screen anymore. Yeah. So that's what we'll be discussing about later as well for the game part. Yes. Yeah. So that's a little bit of history about how pixel art has evolved really. We started really small. We had limited bits to represent the colors, to represent your game logic, so you really couldn't do much with it. Nowadays, you see a lot more powerful machines can handle a lot more colorful art, but we try to start from when pixel art started, which is your 16 by 16, 8 by 8 style. So we start simple. Yeah. So today, the aim, at least for the first hour, is we try to get you to draw your first 32 by 32 character. Yeah. So I'll just show you some processes that people usually go through. Yeah. So okay, let me see. Okay. Anyone knows what this is? Anyone know what the two bunnies are? No? I also didn't know until like recently. This is apparently our club mascot. I didn't know. Yeah, so I found out recently also. Yeah, what a great president, right? Yeah, so if you go to our website, here's GDG, you these are club mascots. You can see their ears are like little game controllers. Yeah, so they're hopefully we don't get mistaken for Cluster and Minor in Pokemon, but I think we're different enough, so should be fine. Yeah. So this is basically me trying to recreate them in 16 by 32. So this is a pretty small size already. So usually for pixel art, the struggle, like I said, is your canvas size. It's difficult to scale down what you see into barely enough pixels to draw a line, right? So there are actually okay. There are usually two methods that people use. First is to do the blockout method. So if you look at the top row, the one with the pink bunny, what you do is you basically draw boxes or shapes that the common shapes that you usually use to draw stuff, and you block out the important parts that make up your character's distinguishing features. So for this bunny, I thought that the remote control shaped head was the more important part, which is why I allocated enough space for the head specifically. I didn't really care too much about the body. I felt like I could fill it in later. Yeah, so for me, when I looked at the reference, the defining feature for this mascot particularly are the cheeks. So I needed 4 pixels to represent each 4 button. So I had to size it accordingly. So the head, I made sure there was enough space for the 2 cheeks, which took about like 5 pixels if you look at it like a cross. So that's why I blocked it out in that shape. So that's usually one of the ways you start doing it. You start blocking out what is this mic? You start blocking out the shapes that distinguish your character. So you should be able to tell roughly what your character is just based on the silhouette. Yeah. So if you can tell, if you look closely, from my first iteration to my second iteration, you will see that I slowly kind of deformed the bunny. So my ears here went from being super wide, so this was about 7 pixels wide here. Why can't I draw? Maybe. What the hell is going on today? Okay, I guess I can't draw, but hope you can see the cursor. Can you see the cursor? Let me just make it bigger. Okay, there you go. Yeah, so you can see. What the heck? Oh, do I have a select now? Okay, yeah, so when I first started molding the shape of my character, I wanted it to be a bit more elongated ears, but over the iterations, you kind of see I kind of reduced the size of the ears to make it look a bit rounder and softer. So it's okay if your first iteration is not perfect. It's something you really just need to keep trying again and again. You have to remove the pixels slowly and slowly, because for some reason every pixel counts. So for example, when I was playing with the eyebrows just now, I wanted the eyebrows in the mascot were like super neutral. Okay, let me just put this here. So the eyebrows particularly were a pain point because I thought that they kind of look better without the eyebrows, I'll be honest. So there were many ways I could do this, but I couldn't decide. So I could have done something neutral like this. Or I could have added a pixel to make it look a bit sadder, I guess. Or I could make him angry. So literally one pixel can change the entire emotion of your character. So that's why it's okay if you feel like the proportions aren't right the first try. It's just really something you have to keep changing again and again until it works. Yeah, so that's the first method, you block it out. The second method is what we call silhouetting. So the one with the blue bunny. Silhouetting is basically the same. It's just usually easier for people who probably have training in digital art for you to be able to see the full picture. So for silhouetting, the more important point isn't about this distinguishing feature. Rather, for silhouetting, what you want to do is you want to get the proportions right. So what you do is you block out the limbs. So every limb, you kind of shape the limbs. You shape each limb separately, and then you just place them at roughly the right spot, so that it looks like just right for the character. So for the bunny, it's not as easy when I was trying to do it, but I'll show you an example of what I did a long time ago. Not you, not you. You, yes. Anyone know this character? I mean, it's in the title. I mean, it's called Stella. Yeah. If you play Star Rail, this is the main character. You can choose if you choose the female trailblazer. Yes. So as you can see in this particular example, when you use silhouetting, you don't shape the whole thing at one go. What you do is like I said, you shape the limbs, so each body part that is important for the shape of your character, and then you just move it around until your eyes can determine that they are in the right spot. So you want to get the proportions right. So usually silhouetting, I only use it more for human characters, because for human characters specifically, the proportions are what make the characters organic looking. If your proportions are wrong when you're drawing humans, generally your eyes can tell, right? Because you see humans a lot. So I usually use silhouetting more when I want to draw like human-like characters. Because from here, just from the silhouette, you can tell roughly where each body part is, and it looks kind of natural. And then in the second iteration, you start connecting them with your clothing and all that. But for the block out method, here, the block out method, I find it a bit easier to work with non-humans because I can't tell the proportions to begin with for non-humans. So I think it's better to get the distinguishing features and then you scale the rest of the painting based on what is more important to establish in that particular character. So for this particular mascot, I said the cheeks were important. So everything else, the size was relative to what I could use the cheeks for. Right, so I needed to reserve 5 pixels for the cheek, and then the rest scales up with my smallest detail. So that's usually how I do it. So that's basically 2 ways you can do it, but this is for really small characters, so these are 16 by 32. If you want to make bigger characters, usually 128 or 256, there's a very good pixel artist called Arc Nehru. Not here. If you want to do triple digit pixels, you have so many pixels to play with, you're better off just doing digital art style where you just sketch the character out, right? So this is literally, I don't even know how she did this. She went from sketching to full out drawing the character, so I don't even know how to explain this. But you can tell the thought process is she used sketching to get the proportions right, and then whatever the hell magic happened in the second iteration, and then she shaded it. Yeah. So I guess if you have digital art experience and you're like a painter, you can just do 256 art instead. Probably it works out better for you. Yeah. So she's a really good artist. She used to work for MapleStory. So if you're interested in that art, you can look for her for references. I think I have a few more here. Yeah. Very, very good. So these are the two 128 pixel width. This is 96 and this is 32. So even in the smaller sizes, you can tell the detail goes down by a lot. And what you will see most commonly when you draw really, really small, so 32 by 32, the most limiting factor will be your eyes. Usually you scale the rest of your character with your eyes. So in this case, she sacrificed a lot of her eye detail. So usually if you watch her time lapse, what she does is she draws the eyes first. Because for her, the eyes are the distinguishing feature. And since they are the smallest distinguishing feature, she scales the rest of the image based on her eyes. So for her 32 by 32, she does the blockout method, but she starts with the eyes instead of like the body and all that. So just something to look at, some references you can go and find. It's impossible to do art without references. If you're here to learn art by being able to draw from imagination, that's gonna take more than 2 hours. So don't be afraid to reference. It's very normal process for artists. The people who you see able to draw stuff based on command are people who have done this stuff for more than 10 years or more than 5 years. This is a skill that you really have to train. So don't be ashamed to go and Google references. Even just straight up Google pixel art references and see how other people do it. You will learn a lot of things. Even basic stuff like how they draw water particles, how they draw the water tiles, how the shading looks like in water, it will teach you a lot. Yeah. So without further ado, let's start drawing, guys. Come. So I hope you guys all downloaded some sort of software beforehand. I'm using GameStart, so if you're using something else, I'm sorry, I probably can't help you specifically with any of the UI controls. I can try to figure it out, but I'm more comfortable with GameStart. Yeah. So for now, we'll just try, like I said, we'll try starting from where pixel art started. We'll start small. So what I want you guys to do is start making a canvas. I don't know how you guys want to do it. For Sprite, you just click File and then New. That should be roughly the general direction. And we'll start off with a 16 by 16 canvas first. And I'll give you guys a warning, 16 by 16 usually doesn't look that good. There's only so much you can do. So we'll really test our limits here. Okay, come, let me see what reference we need. So 16 by 16, my recommendation is usually just 2 colors. I wouldn't go more than 2 because the detail just wouldn't come out. Anyone having trouble making a new canvas? Anyone needs more time? Cat. Come, wow, this is a good image.
Is there a way to like mirror?
In Sprite, mirror?
Yeah.
Mirror is in
Axis or symmetry.
axis. There is. There's this button here. When you're on your brush tool, then it kind of draws based on what axis you have on. So you can have only horizontal that you draw on the left side, or you can have horizontal axis and okay, yeah. Don't turn both on. There's also a diagonal mirror. So are you on your brush?
Yeah, I'm on brush.
Okay, probably a setting you have to turn on. Okay, what about your eraser? Okay. Okay, go to File, go to Edit, Preferences, there should be something in there. Yeah. Okay, but for 16 by 16 you probably don't need it yet. Yeah. Okay, come. 5 minutes. Okay, I don't know how long you need for 16 pixels, but try drawing this sketch. Use your imagination. We'll be practicing getting your shapes, your silhouette right. You don't have to use this particular image. You can use whatever cat you want to draw. If you don't need an image, then just draw whatever you want to draw based on imagination. That's fine. Sorry? View. I guess I just have it on forever. Yellow. Oh, one cool thing about Sprite is if you guys are using Sprite and you need a reference, like you want to draw with a reference on the same screen, what you can do is you copy image, then you open new, and you see when you copy an image, Sprite automatically, when you try to make a new canvas, it automatically sets the width and height based on what image you have copied. Then you can literally just paste the image and then it will appear on Sprite. And then what you can do is you can drag your stuff tabs like this, so you can re-layout, you can change your layout in Sprite so that you can see the reference along with your canvas. Let me see what I can do. Color. Oh no, drawing. Oh my god, I drew the purple guy. Anyone know what the purple guy is? Oh shit, this is terrible. Okay, you guys don't know. I'm being very vulnerable right now. Yeah, good enough. It's terrible. Yeah, you can tell that's the like the under the neck. That's good, that's good. Okay, we're going the right way. And that doesn't look that bad, I think. Okay, maybe the back is a bit. Uh, yeah, can't get that smooth back with 16 pixels. Bit of a shape. I think this is the best you can do. Maybe. Does it look like a cat? Maybe a little bit. I need some affirmation, guys. Oh shit. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I'm just gonna post this on Discord. Why not? Wait, how many people are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay, 27 by 16. Should I just make a big canvas and I just put all of your 16 by 16 cats there? Or should I just draw like the table layout and I put the cats where you guys are sitting now? That'll be cute. But I'm too lazy. Okay, anyone need more time? Anyone need more time? I'm gonna export. Litter. Hey, one more minute. I don't know what you guys are drawing. I don't think you guys are drawing anymore. Who here has Ace Sprite? Do you buy or do you compile? What? Okay, understandable. Okay, very good. I tried compiling, even as a programmer, it was a pain in the ass. All the dependencies that were missing, man. Oh my god, they couldn't make it easier. Literally the best way to make me rich into buying it. It's true, it's true. I mean, it's a good app. It's a good app. So I'm not that angry. But I feel like you might as well just don't put it as an option. If it's gonna be so annoying to install. Okay, let's continue. Hopefully you guys have a satisfactory cat-ish looking thing. Yeah, so like I said, for your smaller canvases, usually you don't want to have too many colors because you really can't do much with it. Sometimes it's more detrimental to have too many colors. So in this case, I only use two for the base and black for the eyes. So I only use the darker colors to sort of give it some depth to tell which body part is supposed to be in front. So you can tell roughly where the neck is and which part is behind the head. Right, hopefully you can see. And one of the more common tricks in pixel art is when you have a lot of body parts together, like when they're on top of each other, people use a darker shade of the same color. So they don't use black like when you would do for an outline. So for example, a lot of people like to do this. They like use black inside the image itself, but I think it's a bit ugly. I think you could make it softer by using a darker shade of the color of the object to show a separation from the limbs. So that's usually what people do. So this is separating the legs from the rest of its body. Okay, let's move on. I'm going to increase my canvas size. You guys can either, if you know how to increase it, you can either increase it or you can resize your whole canvas. Let me think. 64, 48. 48. My little cat. So cute. Okay, so now from 16 to 16, we try creating a cat that is 32 by 32. So you have more pixels to work with, try to scale it up. In 32 by 32, it's usually fine to have 4 colors. Usually it's not too bad, even if you anyhow color it. So we try to compare and see the differences in how 16 by 16 and 32 will work. So how would I do this? I did 48 because I'm just going to combine all my things into one spreadsheet. Yeah, so it's like 16 plus 32, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I'm putting it side by side. But you can make a new canvas if you want. It doesn't really. I just like seeing things on the same thing. Oh yes, guys. Usually, if you guys want to draw curves in pixel art, it's a bit difficult to represent curves because you really don't have that much space. But usually for curves, if you want a more like lenient curve, what you do is usually you increase like a step sort of every step you increase the width by like extra 1 pixel. So this is a really gentle curve. But if you want like a sharper curve, usually what people do is like this. Something like that. Some people like to like draw like this. Like when they're drawing diagonal lines, they connect all of the dots in between like this when you draw diagonal lines. I think it's pretty ugly. So usually what I do, usually you just kind of hide the diagonal part because your pixel art is so small, you don't want to give it any more thickness. Unless it's like an intentional art style, it's usually not that good. Yeah, so if you feel like your curves are a bit jaggedy, one case is either you have these like edge pixels and it looks very jaggedy, so you should try to remove all the pixels that are in the diagonal like this and it'll look a bit smoother. Yeah, that's usually what pixel artists do. This cat is staring into my soul. I hope you guys are not copying me. I'm just doing whatever the hell I think looks good. But it's not professional advice. Mileage differ, whatever they say. I think something is yeah. Roughly right proportion. Give it little feet. Do you guys feel like this is therapeutic? I'm having fun, guys. Bless you. Mm-hmm. My head is troublesome. Goku. Vegeta. Oh god, how do I do the eyes? Enderman? Kirby. Sad cat. Huh. Don't know. Okay, so And my cat not looking so good. I'll be honest. Sad he doesn't have his ears. Ew, what the hell? What the hell? No. No. Hmm. Can I have more pixels, please? Sir, can I have more pixels? Hmm. You guys don't see anything. Okay, very good. Yes. Why is he so sad? I don't get it. Okay, let me think. No, I don't really like that. Ew, ew, ew. Okay, hopefully you have something. I have something. I don't know what it is, but I have something. Okay, while you guys are working on that, let me you 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 not you you not you. This is you. Oh yes, here you are. Let me see if I can find my file. Hmm. Come. Okay. Okay, while you guys are still drawing, I'm just gonna talk about some stuff. So basically once you get into the higher resolutions, once you get to around 32 or 64, around that range, you will start to have enough pixels to basically give it a bit of a nicer shade. So this is something I just copied online. So this is what I tried myself based on the tips that I found online. But essentially, like I said, you try to shape it either by silhouetting or by using the blockout method to get the correct distinguishing features. But I just use the ball, so yeah. So the first one is you shape it. So it's the one on the left just now, the example I showed. This one. Then you shade it with enough colors to give it enough perspective. Like I said, you need shading to give it the depth for 2D image. Then the third step is something we call anti-aliasing. The reason why I didn't show this to you when you were doing your 16 by 16 is simply because you don't have enough pixels, but for your 32 by 32 you should have enough. So what anti-aliasing is about is, I don't know if you can tell the difference between these two, the top right and the bottom left. Anyone can tell the difference? Essentially for anti-aliasing, what you want to do is you want to give the image a nicer, smoother gradient. So if you look really closely, you can see this tiny little shadings I did around the corners, but I don't shade it uniformly. So usually the trick for and to sort of give it a more smoother gradient is whenever you have these kinds of corners. So let's say you have okay, let's just use the pre-anti-alias here. So this is pre-anti-alias. You see, it's just three borders, three distinct colors straight up. So what you usually do is you take these two and you just pick the color in the middle. So on your color wheel or wherever, you pick the one that's in the middle. So probably here. Then for your jagged edges, when you have a smooth edge, so a smooth edge is something like this. So you have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So something like a smooth curve. How you want to anti-alias is, let's take a okay this color. What you usually do is you only shade sort of the diagonal corners here. So remember how I said when you draw diagonal lines, you don't want to have these kinds of, you don't want it to be connected. Essentially, you are making the connections, the jaggedy part, a bit less jarring by giving it a softer color. So in this case, let's say you have black, then you have a less like whiter black, I guess. You can do this to give it like a nicer feel, a nicer color. So it doesn't look nice now because it's just like one line, but if I can increase it, let's say, okay, let's say just this shape. I don't know, making a mouse or something. Then below is white. If you want to give it a nice gradient, usually what you do is you take the in-between, then you just shade sort of the in-between spots. Not the whole picture, the in-between spots. So for this case, when you have, after you're done shading, you want to give the two distinct colors a nicer bridge in the middle to give it like anti-aliasing effect. Pick the two colors, take the color in the middle, then at all the edges, you just kind of take the diagonal spots. And when you have a long corner, you don't shade the whole thing because you just kind of introduce another distinct color in between. You just take roughly one less or one more than the previous corner here. So if the thing is too wide, you can either shade 1 or 2, then this can be 3. So you can either do this effect, or you can do 1 1 1 and then 2 here. So you don't want to shade the whole side, you just want to give it a softer look a little bit. So I don't know if you can tell the difference. So if you have two sides of the corner in one line, you just don't shade the middle basically. Oh, yeah, don't shade the middle. You want to give it a nice gentle shade. Yeah, so hopefully you can tell it's a bit of a gentler shading for that outer border. So that's usually how you would improve the gradient without introducing a straight up new distinct color. You just shade intermittently, like interleaved. Okay, I didn't highlight. Why are you looking at me like this? Never do this. Yep. Where's my cat? Here, cat. I'm gonna anti-alias you. You're gonna be anti-aliased. Who said it's not cat? Who said it? It's a cat. It's a cat. It's a real cat. It's a real cat. Cat a bit dirty, but it's a cat. Still a cat. Oh. Should I outline the smaller one? Probably not. It looks okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'll move on first. For those who are still drawing, have fun. So basically, once you get used to sort of imagining your your image into pixel art, what you would usually do next is you just start making templates for yourself. You basically try to find a style. So this is Up Neru's template that she shows online. You can go and find it, or I can just send it to you honestly. This is basically her template for all of her characters. And then from here, from this, so like I said, she uses her eyes as a base because her eyes are her distinguishing feature. So that's her own template. I think it's a nice template if you want to copy her style and be the next Up Neru show. I think it's a pretty nice art style. Yeah. So once you start templating, there's no shame in templating because nothing wrong with streamlining your process so that you can chop stuff out faster. So usually you do templating for characters. You template the face first, then the hair and all that is usually the part where you start customizing on your own. So for her, what she did specifically was she has a very particular head shape. So all the characters have roughly the same head size. You won't see anything more different than this. So you can probably look at her art again. You can see they roughly have the same size as the template. I wonder if I can copy paste. Where is it? Hope you can kind of tell. She always uses the same size for all her drawings for that particular template. So no shame in that. Go and experiment. That's usually how most people will do it. I think it's a cute art style. It's very nice. Yeah, you can see I tried copying it lah, but not the same level. Okay, for those of you who are done, basically what we want to try to do next is try to just play around with a bit more pixels. So with your 32 by 32, hopefully you have enough space. I don't know how you all draw your cats, but try to play only with the eyes. So in this case, for a human character it's probably easier, but for the cat I don't really know if you have enough space to play the eyes here. But there's you can just play around and see what looks good for you. Whether you want 2 by 2, 1 by 1. Give it some expression. Make it Minecraft. Give it white. Yeah. Plastic side. Yeah, that's basically the process for when you want to practice your pixel art. It's really going from the smaller sizes all the way up. There's really no other way to practice this kind of very unnecessarily precise skill. Okay, nice. Come. I'm going to make a new canvas first. Let me think. 1, 2, 64. 64, 64. Let me play around with this. Let me see what I can do. Okay. Okay. For those who are done, you guys can open a. Hopefully, you can open a 64 by 64. We're not going to draw the cat anymore. It's too hard for me. Yes. Unless you want to draw the cat, then go ahead. Yeah. But for the 64 by 64, we're going to try drawing a person. So we'll be using the silhouette process instead. So for the character, you guys can just pick whatever your favorite character is, I guess. What's my favorite character nowadays? I don't know. Who do I like? I see it. Challenge accepted. Guys, I don't think I can draw her. Challenge accepted, bro. Challenge accepted. Where's her splash art? Okay, you guys can just choose your own character, don't worry. I'm bored. Okay, let me see. Okay, so for the human characters, usually like I said, I prefer silhouetting for humans because I think the proportion matters more than the details. What color do I use here? It's totally not gonna look like her, but let's give her like a square-ish face. Let me just type this here. What's the purple color? Not very precise, but I think it's doable. Establish a floor. No way I can do her pose, bro, in the way. You shall T-pose. I'm so sorry. That's the best I can do for you. I think that's okay for silhouette. It's a it's very chibi style though. The head is definitely black. Yeah, I'll probably do something like that if I silhouetted the person. The eyes look like they're in the wrong place right now. How important is symmetry here? Try to get it symmetrical. But you can't because it's a even number canvas. How unlucky. Yeah, something like that lah. That's probably the best I can do. Give her some cheap blush. Does that look human enough for silhouette? Maybe. I think chibi style, it's probably the right proportions. Yeah, that's probably how I would start off the silhouette. I also agree with Ang Nehru that the eyes are more important for humans usually. So I try to draw them out, but she's so lifeless. Yeah, so if you guys are drawing your favorite character, try the silhouetting method. I think it works pretty well. You can either do the full block silhouette or you can do the limb by limb silhouette. I've kind of gotten used to the full block like this. I don't really like the limb by limb anymore. It's this one. The one where I split all the limbs into each own silhouette. So for this one, the main priority is for you to move the pieces about until they are about the correct height or the proportion. So for this one, is more important because I was trying to get sort of a Final Fantasy vibe. So the character legs were supposed to be way longer than their body. Right. So I separated the legs until I could find where the waist should be. Yeah, I basically just move until the waist looked like it was the right size. But for the chibi style, if you do chibi style like this, where is it? Oh my god, here. If you do it like this, the proportions don't really matter anymore if you're going for like a kawaii style, right? People are gonna focus more on the head. It's like the Japanese big head sort of art style. So here the proportion for the eyes is bigger than it should be. Yeah, so it's really depending on your style here. Whether or not you want to do like sort of a real proportion style or you want to do chibi kawaii style. It's very different. I think this one turned out okay. It's not that bad. Wait, Silk Song is not today, right? 2 more days. Thursday, 10 p.m. I won't be home. Silk Song, Silk Song. I should have drawn Silk Song. Okay, I will continue. Okay, so this is where usually your gentle curves will come in handy. So people usually prefer sort of rounded faces if you want to make a character cute. So usually, like I said, your gentle curves you want to start off decreasing the thing by 1 pixel every time to make it a bit gentler. So in this case, let me just shift it until it looks nice. Yeah, I think that looks okay. How do I make her eyes look more like her eyes? Man, always a big problem. Actually, that doesn't look half bad. Hmm. Hmm. I think that looks okay. Face is still too high for some reason. Yeah, I think that's okay. Workable, workable. Oh my god, how do I draw that little shell on the head, bro? Dude. Okay, Kafka style. Give us some. I don't have to be so exact, but her hair is pretty long. Holy shit. It says about yay or yay long.
Stop laughing, stop. I can't do it. Thank you. Affirmation is accepted. Yeah. I think her face is too fat, bro. Now that I look at it. Somehow that looks a lot better already. The chin's too flat. It's not just me, right? The chin's too flat. Shift you up. I don't know if that helped. Okay, go. Good enough, good enough. Okay, do. If only I could summon Agneru to come here and draw this. Okay, I think that's okay. You're not recognizable at all. Sorry. I think if her face was a bit skinnier, just overall. Hmm. Remove the. That looks a lot better already, actually. Sorry? Curve in, yeah. I'm doing the gentle curve the other way. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Not bad, not bad. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We will gentle curve her hair. Oh no. All good, all good. No accidents. That's okay lah. I think this is okay. Like if you just look at the head, it's like okay lah. Recognizable. Okay, I'm sorry I'm not talking much because I really don't know how to teach people up, bro. It's really just you go and try yourself sort of thing. Excellence. No, she's side-eyeing you. So yeah. Pixels matter. Play with the eyes. I feel like the eyes change your character a lot. Kind of like the side eye. Looks okay. Okay, if you guys are still drawing, I'll let you draw. I'll just talk myself about games. Yeah, so basically, a lot of you, some of you are not here just for the pixel art. Some of you want to know more about how game pixel art specifically will work. So this is Super Mario Bros. I don't even know how many of you managed to play like the original version, but this is one of the classics. But you can see the character size here. Mario himself doesn't have an outline, which I think was a very interesting design choice. So what they intentionally did was they made the levels blue. Most of the levels are blue. If you realize the background's either blue or green, even Bowser's castle. So they made it contrast Mario just by default. So that's why they didn't choose to do an outline here, and that let Mario have a bit more pixels to express himself lah. Yeah, even the Goombas don't really have a distinct outline. But generally, for if you're making a side scroller or some sort of a platformer, so I mentioned at the start how for your pixel art, you want to first define your canvas, your smallest pixel or your smallest tile. So in this case, their smallest tile was also 8 by 8, and their character, usually what I would suggest is you make it at least 2 times as big as your smallest tile. Because if you are having your player focus on something that is the size of your smallest tile, it will be a bit of a painful experience. So usually the recommended is to have at least 2 times as tall as your smallest tile, or 2 times as wide. I don't know what kind of character will be 2 times as wide, but at least 2 times the size. In terms of volume, it will be easier for your eyes to track. Yeah, so you can see here Mario is 2 times as tall as one block usually. Yeah, so it's just something interesting about old games. And for particularly if you are interested in making like full animated games here. So what if I can open this image? When you are making characters, especially when you're making animations for characters, in games, the most important part is to use not like the size doesn't matter, but the more impactful for animation for games is you want to have as little frames as possible. Because for games, the responsiveness of your character matters more than what it looks. Sometimes the look can affect, but generally it's more about how the responsiveness, the feel. So if you're making this kind of fast-paced action games, you want to have minimal frames per second. Yeah, for your animations. But if you're making stuff like fighting games where your animations need to have weight, then generally you want to have more frames. So usually it's what they call impact frames. So you generally have like a wind up in your animation. So we can take a look at let's see if there's Street Fighter here. Street Fighter, please. Yes, 5. Which sprites do they have? Yes, if you guys need pixel art resources, the Spriters resource is a very, very nice website. No. No. Why do they have this? No animations, what the hell? King of Fury. No matching assets. Damn, they have nothing on this website. How about Dragon Voice? Nice. Looking for 3, specifically 3 remastered. 3 remastered is very nice art. Why they don't have it? Man, okay, let me see if there's a really old Street Fighter. Cool. I have to download it. Oh, thank you. My computer is really chunking loading this website. I don't care about the banner, give me the characters, man. David Walsh, my goat. David Walsh, my goat. David Walsh. Okay. Nice, nice. Okay, very good. We found one. So in fighting games, usually, you can see that even though in fighting games you can do a lot of combos, there really isn't that many sprites for one character. Your animations are really limited to how many frames you really need. What you do is you really just stretch the frames. You just fill in with like filler frames in between. So for your kick, usually what they do is you need a wind up. So you usually be in this like leg up pose for I'd say 2 times longer than the actual kick itself. Because you want to add like that wind up feeling when you do a hit. So for bigger characters, the wind up is a bit longer, but that's usually how you get your impact in fighting games. Yeah, but the main like ancestor or like the main idea between all the game animations is that you want it to have as little frames as possible while making it as nice. So usually what they do is they keyframe it at least five or six, and nothing more lah. Anything more will be too much for a pixel game. You don't really need a 60 FPS pixel game. Kind of defeats the point of pixel art, in my opinion. Yes, and finally, for those of you who are sticking with us for level 1 games, most likely most of you would make a platformer. So let me show you what we call a tile sheet. If I can find a tile sheet. Here we go. Okay, so this is what we call a tile map. Each sprite has an inbuilt tile map, so you can see my tile map palette here, which is a nice tool. You can even export it into Unity. So if you guys are planning to make a platformer, usually you only need about 15 to 17 distinct tiles to make enough. That's assuming you're using 3 colors. If you're only using 2 colors, probably 8 is enough. Yeah, so this is my basic 15 tile template that I usually use when I'm prototyping a platformer game. So the stuff that you see above the line here are the distinct tiles that I will be using. And the bottom is what I basically created. So let me just erase. Yeah, so with these 17 distinct tiles, you should be able to make any platformer stage that you need, and then you just add on when you need to. So there are stuff that goes way beyond. There are some 47 tiles because they have stuff like traps and terrain as well. So they have stuff that you can stand inside the box. So that's a different kind of sprite, but you usually don't need it for a platformer. It's just more for art and aesthetics. Yeah. So for example, if you have a tile map, let's say you manage to import this into Unity, this will show up in your Unity editor as well. Then you can basically use the tile map to color the stage lah. So with these 17 distinct tiles, you should be able to make whatever stage you want. So you can have your base height, or you can even increase the height a bit here. Let's say I want this. I want a long. I don't have a closing tile. Something like that. Yeah. So if you guys are looking to make a platformer, I can just send this to you, and you can just edit it to your liking. But this is basically all you need to make a 2D platformer. Really, there's not that much art assets to make. So if you guys are looking for artists, you can probably make your own lah. It shouldn't take too much effort if you're making a simple 2D platformer. But if you're planning to make top-down games, so usually stuff like your Stardew Valleys, your farming sims, they are straight up top-down Pokemon style. You probably need something like this to have a very full effect for your map, for your aesthetics. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 48 tiles. You don't really need all 48. There's literally a blank tile in the middle. Usually, that's what we call a 47 tile sheet. So you can see this one is blank. Usually we don't count that. We just put it in for fullness, and because 48 is a nicer number. Yeah, but you really just need to draw 47 tiles. But there's also something else called your 15 and 16 tile maps also. 15, 16, 47 tile. Okay, yeah, so there's something called dual grid tile sets. The math is pretty okay, I guess, but the basic gist is something like this. Let's say you have a box of 4. So this is a 4x4. This is 4 tiles put together in a square. Basically, if you do your usual, if you don't use a dual tile set, this is usually what your map will look like. You will have to do 9x9. Right, so let's say you have 2 types. You have grass, and you have dirt. So let's say I have G all the way around, and dirt here. This is one possible combination of one tile. So your tile in the middle is what we're going to be focusing on. So it will probably look like this. So this is one possible combination. Depending on your art style, maybe you don't really care about the smoothness of your aesthetic, and you might just do full dirt like this. Then you will have less permutations to worry about because you don't care about your surrounding neighbors at all. So in this case, you probably can just do away with 2 tiles, but that doesn't look very good. So if you do this kind of single grid style, usually you need 47 tiles to be able to fully sort of make sure that your middle node connects well with your surrounding nodes, including the corners. But if you do dual grid, so the base logic is instead of worrying about a 9x9 tile, you worry about 4x4 instead. So this is your first grid. Then you will have a second grid that is half offset. So something like this. Yeah, so in this case, we are still focusing. So let me just erase. So you offset the grid like this. So in this case, we are still only focusing on the middle tile. Like that. So in this case, we are focusing on this tile for a dual grid system. And you see that if you put a tile in the middle of 4 tiles, you only have to worry about 4 neighbors instead. So you only need 16 permutations for any possible combination. So if you have grass like dirt here, then all you have to do is you copy the value here. then it will make itself lah. So usually modern days people will do dual grid tile map. So I can show you a video that explains it pretty well. Using the dual grid system, thank you.
So what initially drew us?
Oh, not sponsored. For legal reasons, not sponsored. Here. So the issue with 47 tile that I just showed you is you need all 47 to make a well-rounded corner
with the last
if you want to consider all of your all of your 8
comes down to
neighbors.
personal preference.
So you can see tiles like this. There's a nice roundness to it. These are not your 1x1 tile blocks, so you're considering all of your neighbors as well. So even this standalone tile, you can see the grass like seeping in. So you need its own standalone tile. That's why it takes more tiles to be able to get that nice round corners. But if you use your dual grid here, so she basically explains that you offset it, and there's only 16 possible permutations.
In terms of the actual tile, instead of 256.
So you can basically change the corner based on what you need lah. So the roundness will change. It's whether or not you concave or you convex the odd one out.
In terms,
and the best part is, because you are implementing on your own, this means that you can do it in runtime. So what you would usually do for if there are programmers here, you literally just hard code. You just hard code the 16 tiles in based on all 16 permutations. And then from there you'll be able to...
And then the offset tiles will generate over them once you hit play. You can of course update the tiles at runtime.
You can generate it in real time, you can see the blocks connecting to each other in real time.
One of the trickier parts of writing the script was figuring out which coordinates to use for the neighbor tiles. To visualize once you hit play,
so you can see when she puts a block between the dot and the line,
update the tiles at runtime by calling this function here.
So this is one
of the trickier parts of writing the script was figuring out which coordinates to use for the neighbor
tiles. People have done it so much, they kind of just shared it. So if you are planning to make a top-down game, you can probably just search out how to do this and just
then
download
offset
the code.
one of them.
Yeah, but it's very nice. It's a very nice thing to have. Yeah. So let me show you the overview here. There's an overview.
Actually, for the 47 tile, most of the tile is just a mirror image.
It is mostly a mirror image.
Right.
But when you are using a tile map, you don't want to be manually inverting the rotation of each tile. And in runtime, it wouldn't be very easy to generate, especially when you're making procedurally generated maps. Then it wouldn't be very feasible anymore.
Actually, if you are familiar with it, it's very fast.
If you are familiar.
Yeah.
But there are better ways to do it. I mean, it's up to style. There's a GitHub repo that literally converts your 15 tile to a 47 piece for you. I think she shares it here as well. Git. Yeah. So there's literally a website that literally does the tile mapping for you. If you are interested, you can go check it out. It's quite cool. Yeah. Then usually, other than that, for pixel art games, in terms of 2D, I think some of you have probably seen sort of hyper-realistic style 2D games. I wouldn't say hyper-realistic, but Dead Cell is quite close to being cartoonish but 3D-ish. So if you want to make this kind of art style, usually what they do really well is they don't have outlines for any of their assets. So you can see the monster enemies here, the main characters here, they don't have outlines at all. So what they do is they use their color choice to contrast with their background, and you realize that their background isn't the same resolution as their character. So their characters' pixels are a bit more obvious, they're bigger, but the background looks almost like digital art, even though it's pixel art. So by using different pixel sizes, they're able to contrast the character and the background, so they don't need an outline. So that's usually something they do as well, which is difficult lah. It's difficult. And if you want to make an action game like this, when you animate your pixel art, you need to make sure you animate separate each layer, each limb from each limb. You cannot animate as a full body, because for example, for dead cells particularly, they have stuff like running attacks, right? You can run and you can attack. So you need your leg and your arms to have different state machines to, basically they need different logic to handle their animations. So you cannot animate everything at the same time. You need to animate the legs separately and the arms separately, and then you put them into different objects. So if you want to make this kind of action roguelike, make sure you animate limb by limb and not body by body, like full on body. It's impossible to handle the logic later for the programmers lah. Yeah. So just something to take note. Other than that, honestly, I have nothing much to say for pixel art. If you want some good references, I personally recommend a channel called James Greer. Brandon James Greer. Yes. This guy has very good tutorials on pixel art. He does it in a more entertainment style, so he does more time lapse and more like video editing. I can show you. It's like more short style. So you won't really get to see his full process usually. You kind of just get to see like the outcome.
This is you. Wait, no. This is you. And you.
Idea that we're really just still talking.
Yeah, so he'll talk a lot about
has
color
kind of
style,
a
stuff
bushy
like
feel
dithering.
to it
So
with that
dithering, where
dithering.
you alternate each pixel
And on
to give it a
Lieutenant
bit of a
Surge,
textured feel, like a
dithering
burning
does a
feel.
good job at
So it
conveying
gives it
the
a bit
fact
of
that he's
depth,
got this
but in exchange
haircut
for
where the
clarity,
sides of his
you
head
know.
are line weight variation,
Yeah, so he does a
or
lot of
tapering,
good art analysis.
which
If you are interested in like more holistic understanding of pixel art, he's a pretty good channel. If you're more interested in following along, there's Adam C. Unis. So Adam C. Unis is better at making mixing general art theory, color theory, and then he also uploads like full VODs for you to follow along as well. And he's making his own game also, so if you're interested in like more game-ish style art, he's pretty good follow. He has some character design stuff. Yeah, I don't think he posts anymore because he's working on his game full time now, but you can go watch his old stuff. He has quite some interesting content as well. Yeah. Then other than that, Instagram usually has like, you can go search for Art Nehru, like I said, the Maple Story artist, Korean, I think. Korean Maple Story, right? Next one. Yeah. She does digital and then she converts them into pixel art. So if you're interested in her art style, she's usually quite fun to use as reference. Yeah, so she's making this for a VR game, I think. Very cute. And if you are looking specifically for games, you either do Spriter's Resource or you either do Game UI database. Yeah. You can either do Game UI database or Spriter's Resource. Usually Spriter's Resource has more stuff, easier to find. So if you're looking for very specific pixel games, they usually will have it lah. Usually. Yeah, and that's about it for me lah. Feel free to leave if you want to leave. Or you want to keep drawing, go ahead.